Hey, what's up guys, DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we're going to be doing a Toga showcase. I just thought that'd be fun to say. We are going to be doing a showcase over these three Togas that you see here: the blue UR Toga, the green UR Toga, and the blue SR Toga. Now, before we get into the showcase, let's really quickly look at each of their skills, and I'll tell you guys what board they're on and stuff like that. Okay, so first off, blue and green Toga are both on board 7, the UR ones, sorry, while the SR blue Toga is only on board 5. So I'd expect the SR Toga to output a little less damage. And you might notice that I also leveled up this SR to be level 80 because I wanted them all roughly around the same page. So they are all level 80. They should be fairly close stat-wise, but we'll see. Okay, so let's take a look at their stats really quickly before looking at their skills. 16,000 HP, 4,000 power, 273 speed, 15,588 HP, 3,000 power, 266 speed, and 13,000, 3,751, and 224 speed. So SR Toga is slightly lacking. I would say blue Toga probably has the best stats right now, even though blue Toga and green Toga are literally like at the same part of their board. So that's interesting to see that blue Toga stats are slightly higher, other than I think the speed might have been lower. 273 for her speed. No, her speed was still higher too, yeah. So blue Toga looking better in the stats department. Okay, now let's take a look at their skills. So on paper, I did a video where I talked about the Togas and the rankings in like a ladder and a tier list. And I said previously that green Toga should probably be ranked higher than blue Toga. And on paper, I still stand by that. It's absolutely true that based on the things that are kitted for green Toga, she should probably be higher than blue Toga on paper. But having used both of these characters, I honestly like blue Toga better, even though like her kit's kind of wonky, because she is just a plus ultra spammer and she's a lot of fun to use. So blue Toga's first plus ultra move, or her plus ultra move, is Knife Dance. It deals 550% damage to a single opponent with a high chance of causing the opponent to bleed. Now this is really good because you're going to be getting your plus ultra probably turn 2 and you'll be able to use it right away. So you're going to be bleeding them from turn 2 on basically. Her first action skill is Let Me Stab You. It deals 350% damage to a single opponent, has a medium chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 3 turns, and also increases the character's plus ultra gauge by 20% if the opponent is already bleeding. And so, well, let me read you this next action skill, and then I'll explain both of these together. And then her other action skill is Just to Be Me. Increases character's plus ultra gauge by 45%. Also increases character's critical hit rate by 20% for 3 turns. So basically the idea with this Toga is you want to use her action skill Just to Be Me first. It's going to raise your plus ultra gauge to where you have a plus ultra turn 2. And it's also going to give you a higher chance to crit, so you're likely to crit with that plus ultra in the next turn. And then if you crit and bleed the character with your plus ultra, because you have a high chance to bleed, then the third turn you're going to use her other action skill, Let Me Stab You. And it has a medium chance of causing you to bleed by itself, but then it's also going to increase your plus ultra gauge again if the opponent is already bleeding. And so basically if you save a 3 skill chain for the third turn to couple with this Toga, Toga will get a second plus ultra for turn 4. You can get 2 plus ultras within 4 turns with this Toga, which is pretty crazy. On top of that, she's going to be bleeding and crit as well. So she is really, really good. And then her auto skills, the first one, For an Easier World to Live In, increases character's plus ultra gauge by 25% when the battle starts. So more plus ultra gauge raising. Also increases character's skill impact by 45% for 3 turns when a wave starts. And then her Blood and Yearning makes character ecstatic for 3 turns and increases character's skill impact by 40% when HP is below 50%. Ecstatic, if you don't know, it should raise your plus ultra gauge quicker or something like that is what it does. I have to go back and look at the exact what it does. Alright, and then you have the EX auto skills. Those aren't super important, so I'm not going to go through those because we got 3 characters to go through. But if you are looking there, you can pause the video and see what they have. Alright, green Toga, the UR one. Bloody Love, Himiko Toga. I probably botched that name, sorry if you're a big fan of her. Alright, her plus ultra move, To Be More Like You, deals 600% damage. I do believe that's higher. Let me go back and check. I'm pretty sure that was higher than Blue Toga. Yeah, Blue Toga only does 550%, whereas Green Toga does 600% at level 2. Okay, so Green Toga's plus Ultra actually does more damage. Interesting. To a single opponent, increases character's critical hit rate by 30%. So this character also increases crit for 3 turns, and then this also gives the character the ability to evade one time. Now, that ability to evade one time may not seem super good, but I can tell you that ability to evade has been really useful to me in the Life VE tower, where she'll plus Ultra and then she can evade on that third phase against her Araka's plus Ultra, which has saved me a few times. So that ability to evade is actually pretty good. Alright, and then her first action skill is Here's Your Shot. Deals 300% damage to a single opponent, low chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 3 turns. Increased chance of causing bleed when used in a successfully executed skill chain. Now, one thing I wish they would tell us about these skills is how much is my increased chance? You know, is it going from a low to a medium chance? Is it going from a low to a high chance? Is it just going from a very low chance to a slightly higher low chance? They don't really tell us how much of an increased chance of causing a bleed we have. And so because of that, it makes this Toga a little less good. If we had like a medium chance to bleed all the time, that would make this Toga just so much better, so much, like, immensely better. And she would be, in the game, probably far better than the Blue Toga. Alright, and then her second action skill, Let Me Stab You, deals 325% damage to a single opponent. Skill impact is increased by 45% if the opponent is a UI high class 1A character. Also has a low chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 3 turns. So once again, I liked this Toga on paper because she had more chances to bleed. She can bleed from both her action skills as opposed to one action skill like Blue Toga, and then she could also crit with her plus Ultra. So I liked being able to bleed with my action skills as opposed to having to wait for my plus Ultra. But realistically, Blue Toga just gets her plus Ultra so much, and having that high chance to bleed is so much better than a low chance. Blue Toga is going to be probably far better, far superior to this Green Toga. But let's read her auto skills really quickly. Breaking anything I don't like increases character skill impact by 20% when HP is below 50%. Also increases character speed by 25% when character has ability to evade. The speed thing's not a big deal, but increasing skill impact is nice. And then to live a normal life increases character skill impact by 30% if there are any UA high class 1A characters on the team. Typically, you'll probably have a healer because most of them are 1A high class characters. I mean, there's only really 3. You have Najire, who's not. You have Yayurozo and you have Uraraka. So you're probably going to have Yayurozo or Uraraka to heal. So there's a good chance of having a UA high class 1A character on your team. Also increases character's power by 20% when HP is 50% or higher. So she's increasing power when HP is 50% or higher, increasing skill impact when HP drops. So all around, she looks like a very balanced and fun character to play on paper. But when it just comes down to the damage and the amount of bleeds that proc, I think the Blue Toga is going to be better because she's going to output more damage because she has more plus ultras over time. And she's going to bleed more because she has more plus ultras over time. Blue Toga is just built to be a plus ultra machine. And so that just makes her a little bit better. But the problem with Blue Toga is she's kind of wonky on other teams, on most teams, where you're trying to like do your action skills the first 2 turns and then do a set of 3 plus ultras your 3rd turn. And so it can be kind of weird to use the Blue Toga. So if you're looking for more like team synergy, Green Toga is definitely the way to go because she's going to synergize better with the team. But if you're purely looking for like plus ultras, like for example the plus ultra VE tower, Blue Toga is a pretty good way to go. Alright, and then lastly, the SR Toga, the blue SR Toga, Glint of a Knife. Her plus ultra move is Let Me Stab You, deals 400% damage to a single opponent, medium chance of causing the opponent to bleed for 3 turns. Like even here, this medium chance to bleed, that's on an SR character. They couldn't have just given that to the green UR Toga. Give her a medium chance to bleed if you're going to give the SR a medium chance to bleed. Come on. 400% damage is not quite as high as the other 2. Remember, the other 2 were also on level 2 of their plus ultra, so this one's also on level 2. 100% less well, 200% less than the green Toga for damage. So it is an SR, to be expected. I'm excited to see how she holds up to the SRs, though. And then her first action skill is Here's Your Shot. Deals 225% damage to a single opponent, decreases the opponent's defense by 15% for 3 turns. That will be interesting. So I'll probably use Here's Your Shot before I use the UR Toga's action skills to decrease the defense, which will be nice. And then Love Gossip. Increases character speed by 35% for 3 turns. Also increases character's critical hit rate by 25% for 3 turns. Wow, I can't believe they put that on a character. On an SR character. That's almost as good as the UR Togas, 5% less, but increasing your crit rate by 25% for 3 turns. That's really good. Now you can see where this ability kind of falls apart in that it increases your speed by 35% for 3 turns. I mean, that would be great if we were taking this character into Ultra Arena, but in most PvE content currently in the game, that is not super important to increase your speed. So that's where the blue Toga is a lot better, because with her action skill that's similar to this, she's increasing plus ultra damage instead of speed. So that is where the blue Toga is going to be better, the UR one. Alright, and then auto skill, her first one is Bizarre Thoughts. Increases character's critical hit rate by 10% every time they defeat an opponent. Okay, that's actually a sick ability. Put that on a UR. Alright. And then also increases character speed by 25% when HP is below 50%. I'm still just not a big fan of speed increases like Big Whoop. We're using most of these characters in PvE, and how much does speed really play into it? I don't know. I don't think it helps all that much. Okay? And then her last auto skill, Maiden of Fresh Blood, increases character skill impact by 30% for 3 turns after landing a critical hit. So she's going to be raising crit each time an enemy is defeated. Unfortunately, we're doing a VE tower with only 1 enemy, but that's still cool. And then she's also going to have her plus ultra, I think, was it? No, her action skill that raises crit. And so if she crits, she's going to increase her skill impact for 3 turns as well. This SR Toga is actually looking kind of like beastly. Like, her kit looks crazy. Like, it's just designed for a bunch of damage. Now, with her stats, we'll see if she can actually keep up in damage and do a decent amount of damage compared to the 2 UR Togas. And then, of course, we have her EX skills below. Once again, if you want to read those, you can pause the video here, but I'm not going to go over those because it's just a lot to go over. Alright, so without further ado, let's hop into the video. I'm not going to go over Najire or Yaoyorozu because they are not really a part of this. They're just there in case one of our Togas dies for whatever reason. Alright, and we are doing the Blood stage. We're doing S difficulty against Stain. So this is the hardest difficulty of the Blood stage. Now, the Blood stage is probably the easiest VE tower to do, but it just seemed appropriate for these characters, so I thought I would do it. Alright, so the one on the right is our SR character. And this one is going to... is it our SR character? Wait a second. Maybe it's not. No chance of causing an opponent to bleed. Increase. No, that's not our SR character. The one on the left is our SR character. I was wrong. Okay, the one on our left is our SR character. I'm going to use this first. Decreases the opponent's defense by 15% for 3 turns. We'll do that. And then we will use the blue Toga's thing that's going to increase her plus ultra and her crit. And then we're going to use the green Toga's that has an increased chance to bleed when used in a successfully executed skill chain. So we're going to see if we can bleed this guy here at all. Let's try. Okay, defense down. Plus ultra and bleeding. Huge. Nice. And blue Toga got a crit. So let's see. I'm excited to see how many crits we get at the end of this. It'll be interesting to see. And you can see blue Toga already has her plus ultra. So this is kind of what I was talking about. It just throws off the synergy of your team. But if you can bear with like only using a plus ultra and you don't have to use these action skills right away and you're okay with that, you know, then she works out good. So I'm just going to use blue Toga's plus ultra right here. Has a high chance of proccing a bleed again. He's already bleeding, but let's see. We'll have to see which animation's better too. The animation was okay. I like it. Alright. And now we use all 3 action skills, and since he is bleeding, we should be able to get blue Toga's plus ultra back or pretty close next turn. Alright. And I do believe, yeah, this action skill is going to increase the SR Toga's crit, so we'll see if she does any more damage after this too. Okay, 22,000. Yep, and there's a crit from Green Toga. Okay, so far both our UR Togas have crit. I don't think our SR has yet, but oh, there we go. Okay, all Togas have crit. Very interesting. And you can see Blue Toga's plus Ultra Gauge is pretty close to caught up with the other two. Maybe not quite as much. If you put like a memory on there that increases plus Ultra Gauge, or you have like an EX skill on one of your memories that increases your plus Ultra Gauge faster, that would probably help you get this character plus Ultra in all the time. Alright, let's use SR Toga's plus Ultra and see what it looks like. Alright, this is SR Toga. Okay, definitely not as cool as the UR Blue Toga. Alright, and then the last Toga, here we go. The green one, let's see her plus Ultra. Which one's going to look better? Yeah, this one takes the cake. This one is so sick! This one is so cool. So much better than the... that's so much better. So much better than the other ones. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so in terms of my ratings so far, I would say Blue UR Toga, probably the best for damage. And honestly, like, you see her here with like no health. In terms of tanking, I would say they're all pretty close to about the same. Blue UR Toga's just been targeted a lot this go around. Okay, so in terms of damage, Blue UR Toga is the best. Green UR Toga is probably second best, and then SR Toga is third best. In terms of plus Ultra animations, I would give it to Green Toga first, then to Blue Toga, who's the UR, and then to the SR Blue Toga, because that animation just sucked. It's an SR. Okay, and then in terms of team synergy, like I was saying before the video, Green Toga wins. I would say Blue Toga is actually second in synergy, not last. At the SR Toga, sorry, the Blue SR Toga is second in synergy, and then the UR Toga is like last in team synergy. She's just funky to use unless you have other characters that do similar things to her, which there just aren't that many in the game yet. There might be later. Alright, so I think her plus Ultra, as long as she survives long enough, she should get her plus Ultra before staying here. Might finish it up for us, or she might just die. We'll see. Alright, so let's take a look at her plus Ultra one more time before we end this video. Okay, so you can just see the comparison right there. It's a nice plus Ultra, don't get me wrong, but the Green Toga's plus Ultra, so much better. Oh my gosh. Oh, and there's the evasion. You guys got to see the evasion on the Green Toga. There you go. That's how handy that evasion can come in. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely insane. And 3 Togas finishing up. Looks so cool. And let's take a look at our overall crits here. 11 crits, and I think that was how many turns? 6 turns? 11 crits, 6 turns. And that is without any crit memories. That's just the Toga's action skills right there. So that's really good if you're looking for characters that do crit for VE towers. These characters are the characters for you. 3 status ailments. That's pretty good. If we were running it for like a high score, we could definitely get more status ailments. So these 3 characters, all of them, very, very good for VE tower in my opinion, because they will proc bleeds, which are ailments, and they will also do a lot of crit hits for you, which you need in VE tower. As far as PvP goes, I probably wouldn't take these guys into PvP. They don't fit well on a PvP team, and they're pretty squishy. So I'd avoid them in PvP. But as far as PvE goes and VE tower, these characters right here are definitely like A tier to me. To me, they're A tier. I would say Blue Toga, Green Toga, the UR versions are A tier. I would have to do a little more testing on the SR Toga, but I think she is actually pretty good for an SR. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments though. This is just my opinion, of course. Do you agree with me that these Togas are good? They have their usefulness. Do you think they're really good for VE Tower like I do? Or just kind of meh and there's better characters? Please let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. And thank you for watching. Peace.